guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be making not one, but we are making two custom dolls. So one of my Play Candy fans asked me to make a Booger ghost. Now I didn't know who the Booger baby was, so if you guys check out the Cartoons Crybabies special editions on YouTube, you will see in the latest Halloween special we've got the Booger ghost. So I'm going to be making a Barbie doll mum for my Booger ghost, and we're going to be then making our crybaby as well. So first thing that you need to do is to remove the doll's head, soak it in some boiling water just to soften it all up, and then cut all of the hair off and remove all of the gluey plugs from the inside. So guys, I'm going to be showing you a little bit more detail today on how to reroot the hair. I haven't really shown much detail before, but today I'm going to be just showing you that tiny bit more, just in case you wanted to give it a try yourself. So once I've removed all of these really hard gluey plugs from inside the head, I'm going to be preparing the head by painting it, and then we'll get started with our rerouting. Okay guys, so her head is nice and clear. I'm going to be putting a base of white paint on her head. I just remembered that I haven't actually even shown you guys what I'm going to be doing for this doll. So because she's going to be being the Booger ghost, I'm making her all in white. So the whole doll, the crybaby and the Barbie doll are going to be all white. Now I've got this gorgeous hair, and it's from Retro Dolls, which is where I buy all of my dolls' hair from. And this crushed ice is such a lovely white because it's got that extra sparkly metallic sheen about it. So that's going to be great for our ghosty hair. And I've also got a few of these white fabrics. I really like this one, and I've also got a netty tool, and I'm going to be trying to make a really nice sort of floaty, flowy dress for our ghost mum. So now that our head is all prepped, we're going to start with our rooting. Okay guys, so we're ready to go. Get your hair out of the pack. It comes in one really long length like this, so cut it down to the length whether you want it longer or shorter, and then just grab a few little strands in your fingers, over your finger like I'm doing, and then get your rooting tool. So the needle has got like a little hook on it, and you want to scoop up the hair inside the hook and hold it tautly in your hand. And then I normally start in the corner here, and you just push it all the way through, making sure that you're using a needle that is small enough for the hole. You don't want to use a needle that's too big because you'll split the plastic. And then I like to go all the way around the back of the hairline and then come around the front. And then once I've done those smaller plugs, I like to then fill up the whole base of the head. Now, I'm also going to show you how to change the needle if you break a needle, because that's exactly what I did. So I'm going to be showing you how to make a new needle if you've broken one at home. Okay guys, now I'm making my way back around the front of the hairline. In these smaller plugs, use smaller pieces of hair, and when you get to the base of the head, to the filling in the main part of the head, you can use thicker plugs and even a thicker rooting needle if the holes are bigger. Okay, now I'm finished with the hairline. I'm going to fill up the back of the head now. Okay guys, and this is where I snapped my needle, so I'm going to just show you how to replace the needle. So you're going to need a new needle first of all. I'll show you the ones that I use. I've got a pack over here, And these are just short darners, short darning needles, and I get the sizes 3 to 9, and of course you just choose the size that's appropriate for the plugs that you're using. And then just insert your needle into your routing tool. And then tighten the grip once you've got about 1 centimeter poking out. And then I'm going to use my wire cutters to cut the end of the needle. Now this is an old pair of cutters that I have. They're a bit banged up. I wouldn't want to use these nice ones because it does dent the cutters. And you're going to want to cut your needle on an angle so that you've got one end longer than the other. Now this didn't actually turn out how I wanted it to, but it worked anyway. So I've got it on an angle, and then I start to wiggle it gently from side to side so that you don't snap the whole needle, you just want to snap the little ends off. Now I cracked it and it went the wrong way. However, it still left me with a little hook on here. If I zoom in, you'll be able to see. And that's exactly what you want. So one little side, just a bit longer than the other. It's easier to scoop the hair up like that. And then off we go again, guys. I'm now getting to work on the hairline, so I'm putting in a plug of hair down one side of the hairline, then I'm going to turn the doll over and I'm going to go through the same plugs, putting in a little plug of hair in the opposite direction for our parting to sit nicely. There we go, guys, our doll is nicely rooted now. Now we need to secure the hair in. I always use my hot glue gun. I haven't had a problem with this to date, so I'm going to keep doing it. So I'm just putting a little bit in, and then I'm giving the head a good squish around to make sure that I've got all of the pieces of hair nicely glued up, so no pieces of hair are going to fall out. Now that I've done that, I'm going to replace the head back onto her body. And now I'm going to just settle the hair down a little bit by dunking it into some boiling water, just to smooth down the parting exactly where I want it to go. I've put a loom band in for now just to hold it in place, but I'll take that out in a moment so that it doesn't dry with a band mark in it, because I don't want it to come out with a ponytail mark in the hair. So this is just to smooth down the parting where I want it to go. Gonna give it a brush and then I'll leave her to dry out. And now I'm going to start to work on my crybaby. So these are the little ones I make in the little mold that I have. They come out very, very bumpy on the edges, so I'm going to use my little cutting tool just to smooth away the little excess bits of material from around the edges. Now this baby is going to be slightly different to the other babies I make because she's a ghost. She doesn't actually have any legs. Now I'm not going to be able to make a little ghosty tail over the top of the legs, otherwise it would be too long. So I'm actually going to have to snap off her little legs so that I can place a little ghosty tail on instead. So I'm going to use, it's very hard, this material I'm using, it's like a hard plastic, so I'm going to use the wire cutters again just to do this. Okay guys, now it's time to get started with this tail. This is the ghosty tail I made. I used this lovely shimmery white little see-through material, And I've made like a little cone, a bit like this one, except I ran a stitch up one end of it and drew the thread in tightly so that it sort of ruffled up that edge, and that's what's made it curl at the back, because I need the little ghosty tail to curl out at the back. So now that we've made that, we're going to stuff it with some toy stuffing, and then we're going to place it onto our baby's body and fix it on there, and she'll look much happier after that. So here is my toy stuffing. I'm going to push some right into the base of the tail first of all. And I'm just going to use the end of a paintbrush just to push right down to the bottom of that tail. And then we can stuff it up a little bit more. Okay guys, now I don't want any of this bit poking out of the bag, so I'm going to stick a bit of stuffing around the edges of my baby so that it all blends in nicely once we stick the tail on. So there we are, she's all covered. Let's get that little tail over her body, and then I'm going to glue it into place, and I'm also going to stitch it down the back to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, there we go guys, I've run a little stitch down the back of the baby and I'm just gluing it into place now. Making sure it's nice and secure, and there we have it guys, one little ghostly tail. I think that looks pretty sweet. Okay, back to our Barbie doll. So I've used some of my netty tulle material and I've put a strip over each shoulder and I've secured it in place with a little strip around her waist. And now I'm also going to use some of the net all around her waist. I've just stuck on strips of net, and actually I've tacked it on with a little stitch just to make the skirt a little less see-through, because I'm going to be using this lovely shimmery material to make the bulk part of the dress over the top of this netting. So I'm going to have a few strips of this going down and I'm going to glue those into place around her waist. And now that that is done, I'm using this lovely little silver ribbon and I'm going to just stick that in place around her waist. There we have it guys, that's the bulk of the dress. It's a little bit see-through, so I'm actually going to add a little bit of fabric underneath the top area there so that it's not as see-through. I'll add that in a little while. Now I'm going to decorate the top of the dress with some of my lovely crystal beads here. I was thinking halfway through making this doll that she actually looks like she could be my diamond edition mum as well. So she can double up as my ghosty mum and my diamond edition mum because she is so pretty. So here we go guys, I'm hot gluing a strip of my lovely crystal beads up the front of her dress on one side, and I'm going to repeat it on the other side as well. And I will also in a moment stick a little piece of white fabric underneath the top of her dress there just to make it less see-through. So there we have it guys, how lovely does that look? I'm loving her dress so far. I still need to sort out a hairdo for this doll. I've got a couple of ideas in mind and I need to do her face up as well. But first of all, I'm going to get to work on her eyes. Now I'm using this dark green glitter glue I'm going to colour in the blue irises in green, but I'm also going to be adding in some light green paint and some light reflections, so this won't be the end of my eye colouring in. This is just the base to begin with. I'm just putting a tiny amount on. And I'm going to be using this clear crystal glitter glue just to shimmer up her lips. I did put some onto her eyebrows as well, thinking that was a good idea, but I ended up removing it at the end, which is why I haven't shown putting it on. Now, I was also making a wire headband, and I was going to add some of these lovely diamante crystals for her hair, but it didn't turn out quite to plan. So instead of doing that, I took the wreckage of my hairband and I wrapped it around her wrist, because she was actually an eBay doll that I bought, and I didn't realise she actually had a bit of a mangled wrist here. It had a bite mark in it. So this going around her wrist has actually covered up the damage, and it also looks like a pretty funky bracelet. Okay guys, and now I'm sitting to work on her hairpiece. So I've taken another strip, quite a long strip of the same hair. I've secured it with a loom band, and I'm just going to make a braid, and out of the braid I'm going to make a hairband. So I've made quite a long plait. I'm going to secure it with a loom band and then join the two ends up together to make a loop like this. Just trim those spare bits down. Now I've put it over the doll's head. I just want to tidy up her hair first of all, and then we'll just pull up our little braid hairband and sit it neatly wherever we want it to go. I think that looks so nice. I'm so pleased with this hair colour. I'll definitely be buying this hair colour again. It looks so lovely. So there's her hairband, her bracelet, her lovely adorned dress, and there is her face. I will remove those glittery eyebrows in a moment. But first of all, guys, this hair needs a trim. Okay, I want to keep it quite long, but I just want to get rid of the ratty ends and give it a nice blunt edge, so I'm going to give it a snip. I know some people like to tie the hair in loom bands first before cutting it, but I never get an even cut when I do that, so I'm using my sharpest pair of scissors and I'm just giving it a really blunt cut. There we go, guys, and that's turned out pretty nice and straight to me, and there she is. I found some nice little glass slippers. I was going to take some shoes and paint them white, but I just thought these glass slippers were so cute, so I'm just leaving them exactly as they are. And I think they suit a ghosty baby. So let's get to work on our crybaby. So I'm first of all going to paint her face in a few layers of skin tone, and of course I've used the palest skin tone I can. I didn't want to make her completely white, so I've just given her a tiny bit of colour. And I'm going to start with the whites of her eyes, a couple of coats of this, I'm blow drying in between. And now I'm starting with her eyes. So Booger Baby has got green, pale green, that's the only colour she really has on her. So we've given her these lovely little light green metallic eyes. We've painted in her dark pupils. But I'm also going to use some of that light green to put some highlights into her Barbie's eyes. And then some little light reflections as well. Second eye, and you can see that I've removed the glitter from her eyebrows already. I'm back to work on our baby. I'm going to use my little fine liner pen just to make some little waterline marks around her eyes and paint in her little eyelashes. And we're just going to give her tiny little eyelashes. Give her some little light reflections in her eyes. I'm going to paint on the same colour green for some little pale eyebrows. And I'm going to use this very pale pink just to give her a tiny bit of colour in her lips. And then I'm going to paint my whole body with this pearlescent white paint just to give her a bit of shimmer, just to make her look a little bit special. I don't want to leave her in this plain white, and I'm using it for her hair as well. I was going to make some real hair wefts out of the same colour hair as I've done for Mum, but they didn't look right, so I removed them and just left the hair as it was. I'm using a bit of my dark green glitter just to highlight her eyes as well. And I'm using some of the clear glitter just to shimmer up her lips. And at this point, guys, I think that we are about done. I've added a tiny bit of white fabric under the top, under the netting of the top here, just so that it's not as see-through as it was. But this is our Mum. Tell me, guys, I think she looks a bit like Daenerys from Game of Thrones. But I think that she looks like a pretty cool ghosty mum. She also looks like a pretty cool diamond edition mum. I love her hair and I love her little embellishments on her dress, her little bracelet and her little glass slippers. I'm really pleased with how this Barbie came out. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you like her too. And here is our little Booger baby. And she looks pretty sweet as well. I'll move around the side so that you can see her little ghosty tail. If I turn her to the side, you can see her little ghosty tail. But she is pretty sweet as well. And that's the end of my video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed watching this custom video makeover. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed it. Let me know who you prefer, Barbie or Baby. And I'll see you guys really soon. Lots of love, guys. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed watching my video. If you did, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you hit the bell, it'll notify you as soon as I release a new video. Well guys, I'm sending you loads of love for now, and I'll see you all really soon. Lots of love, guys. Bye bye.